Imagine a prison where people enter voluntarily. There are no bars, no guards, yet few ever manage to escape. The strangest part? Most don't even realize they're trapped. They believe they're in control, but in reality they follow the same invisible rules that dictate their lives. Now think about your routine. How many times have you felt the need for something to feel safer, more comfortable, more satisfied? Maybe you've made plans, set goals, believing that once you finally achieved them, you'd find the peace you've been searching for. But when that moment arrived, did the relief last? Or was it quickly replaced by another desire? This cycle repeats for most people, and the scariest part is that we rarely realize we're caught in it. The pursuit seems legitimate, the concerns feel normal, and we even justify the sacrifices we make. After all, everyone around us is doing the same, so there's nothing wrong with it, right? But something feels off. If we were truly in control, why is it never enough? Why, even when we get what we wanted, does the restlessness remain? Something keeps us constantly chasing more, never allowing us to stop. The answer to this question reveals one of the most dangerous addictions of modern life, an addiction that no one likes to admit they have, yet it controls most people without them even noticing. And the worst part? It's an addiction that can follow us for life, unless we learn to recognize and break free from it. Have you ever noticed how there's always something to worry about in the future? If it's not an unexpected expense, it's the feeling that you still don't have enough. If things are going well, there's the fear that something might go wrong. If you're making progress, there's pressure to keep growing. It's a constant state of alert, like peace of mind is always just out of reach. This isn't a coincidence. The modern world has conditioned most people to live in this endless pursuit. But what exactly are we chasing? For many, the answer seems obvious. More stability, more security, more comfort, but there's something subtle here. What defines that security? What makes us feel like we've finally arrived? If we look closely, a pattern emerges. Whenever we seek more control over our lives, whenever we try to ease a worry or secure a better future, one common factor always appears: money. It seems like the solution to all our problems. More money means less uncertainty, fewer risks, more options. At least that's what we've been taught to believe, and it's true. No one can deny the importance of money. It gives us access to resources, protects us from unexpected events, and provides comfort. But here's the question almost no one asks. What if it's not money itself, but our relationship with it that keeps us stuck in this endless cycle? Most of the time, we don't realize that this relationship goes beyond necessity. Money stops being just a means to an end and becomes an emotional force, one that directly influences our mood, decisions, and even self-esteem. If we have enough, we feel relieved. If we lack it, we feel anxious. If we buy something new, we get a momentary high, but soon another desire takes its place. The trap is that this cycle never ends. We work to earn more, spend more as our income increases, set new standards, and without realizing it, we make this pursuit part of our identity. Money stops being just a tool and transforms into something much deeper, an invisible measure of success, control, and even happiness. But when something external has that kind of power over us, can we still say we're in control? Or have we? without noticing, fallen into a modern addiction that keeps us running without ever truly feeling free. If we take a closer look, the relationship many people have with money isn't rational, it's emotional. It's not just a means to fulfill needs, it becomes a source of anxiety, status, and even identity. And it's this silent dependence that makes it one of the most dangerous addictions of modern life. Unlike more obvious addictions, like alcohol or gambling, financial compulsion is socially accepted, even encouraged. Working endlessly, always striving for more, spending to feel better, all of this is seen as normal, even as a sign of success. But what happens when this pursuit never ends? When even those who have plenty still feel fear, dissatisfaction, and the need to accumulate more? The problem isn't money itself, but how emotionally dependent we become on it. Many people don't realize it, but they live in a constant state of financial dependency, impulsively spending to relieve stress, taking on debt without thinking long-term, or dedicating their entire lives to chasing wealth without ever feeling truly secure. The more they have, the more they want, and ironically, the more they own, the more they fear losing it. The Stoics warned about this danger. Epictetus taught that no man is free if he is not master of himself, and this applies to everything in life, including money. When our emotions are dictated by our bank balance, we don't own our money, it owns us. True freedom doesn't come from accumulating more, but from learning not to be controlled by the constant desire for more. If we follow this logic, the problem isn't financial, it's philosophical. We're looking for security in the wrong place. And unless we change this mindset, we'll remain trapped in this cycle of restlessness. But how can we apply this Stoic perspective in real life to break free from financial dependence? If there's one thing the Stoics understood better than anyone, it's the power that desire holds over the human mind. To them, true slavery wasn't imposed by chains or physical prisons, but by the inability to control what one desires. And in the modern world, money has become exactly that, an invisible master capable of dictating emotions, decisions, and even a person's sense of self-worth. This explains why so many people remain restless, no matter how much they earn. Money, by itself, has no power. It doesn't cause suffering or happiness. It's merely a tool. The problem arises when we place on it the promise of security and fulfillment, without realizing that this pursuit has no end. How many times have you seen someone who earns a great salary, yet constantly worries about the future? Or people who, even after achieving financial comfort, remain anxious, always chasing more? This happens because a person's relationship with money doesn't change with their bank balance. It changes with their mindset. Seneca warned about this danger, saying, "The most shameful form of slavery is that which submits to money." The more you depend on it for your peace of mind, the more vulnerable you become. The fear of loss grows stronger than the pleasure of achievement, and the freedom that once seemed so close remains out of reach. The story of King Croesus illustrates this trap well. He believed his wealth granted him absolute power, but after misinterpreting a prophecy, he made decisions that led to his downfall. What he thought would bring him security was precisely what destroyed him. This shows that when we place absolute trust in something external, we become prisoners of it. The Stoics knew that true security doesn't come from what we accumulate, but from our ability to avoid being ruled by the fear of loss. That's why they practiced conscious detachment, not as a rejection of wealth, but as a mental training to ensure that it never became an invisible shackle. Marcus Aurelius, despite being an emperor, reminded himself daily of the impermanence of wealth and power. He understood that everything could disappear at any moment, so he made a conscious effort not to base his peace on anything beyond his control. This mindset created freedom because it prevented him from being a prisoner to anything but himself. Today, this idea is more relevant than ever. We live in an era of constant comparison, where success is measured by what we own. The problem is that this race never ends. There will always be someone with more, something new to desire, another level to reach. Without control over our desires, it will never be enough. The Stoics teach us that the solution isn't to reject money, but to use it without being used by it. True freedom doesn't come from having more, but from needing less. When we can redefine our relationship with money, we find the peace that so many spend their lives chasing, yet never attain. Recognizing that we're trapped in a cycle of financial dependence is the first step. The second, and most important, is breaking free from it. The Stoics didn't believe in purely theoretical changes. They practiced what they preached daily. And if we want to free ourselves from this destructive relationship with money, we need to apply these ideas in real life. Here are 3 Stoic actions that can transform the way you handle your finances. Number 1, practice voluntary deprivation. Seneca advised experiencing poverty from time to time, but this doesn't mean becoming poor, it means getting used to living with less than you're accustomed to. For a few days each month, try cutting out unnecessary expenses, living only with the essentials, and observing how it impacts your emotional state. This reduces the fear of scarcity and helps distinguish between true needs and mere desires. Number 2, reduce your emotional dependence on money. The Stoic relationship with money wasn't about rejection, it was about autonomy. If money dictates your mood, self-esteem, or sense of security, then it has power over you. To neutralize this, practice daily Stoic reflection. If I lost everything tomorrow, what would really change about who I am? This exercise creates psychological distance from wealth and strengthens resilience in the face of financial fluctuations. Number 3, focus on what you can control. Epictetus taught that we should focus on what's within our control and accept what isn't. In financial terms, this means avoiding obsession over external outcomes and concentrating on financial discipline. Instead of endlessly chasing wealth, establish a solid and sustainable financial plan based on habits that don't rely on external circumstances. Another crucial aspect is how we react to money. Many people feel euphoric when they earn more and frustrated when they lose, making them emotionally unstable. The Stoics called this apatheia, the ability to remain calm regardless of external circumstances. Applied to finances, this means not being swayed by sudden impulses or fears, but acting rationally and with control. Additionally, it's essential to understand the illusion of accumulation. Many people believe that if they could just double their income, they would finally be at peace. But what happens in reality? As soon as they reach that goal, their expectations shift, new desires emerge, and dissatisfaction persists. The Stoics warned that the problem isn't how much money you have, but the belief that it can resolve all your insecurities. This illusion fuels a constant fear of loss. When more money becomes synonymous with more control, any financial fluctuation creates anxiety. Stoicism teaches that true security doesn't come from accumulation, but from the ability to maintain serenity even in uncertainty. A fundamental practice to break this dependence is intentional contentment. This doesn't mean settling for less, but learning to appreciate what you already have. Instead of living in a state of almost there, always wanting more, the Stoics taught the importance of recognizing that enough is already within reach. When we internalize this, the endless pursuit loses its power. And to dive even deeper into this journey of financial transformation through Stoic philosophy, we've developed the guide, Stoic Wealth, How Philosophical Lessons Can Transform Your Financial Life. In it, you'll find principles and strategies to apply Stoicism to your daily life and achieve a more balanced and conscious financial life. The link to get your copy is in the first pinned comment of this video. The path to financial freedom isn't about having more, it's about needing less. When we apply these principles, we learn to use money as a tool instead of letting it use us. In the end, true wealth isn't in what we accumulate, but in the control we have over our own choices. Now that you know these actions, there's one last crucial point to ensure that this change truly happens. And that's exactly what we'll cover in the conclusion. The most dangerous financial addiction isn't simply wanting money, it's becoming emotionally dependent on it to feel secure and fulfilled. It's the belief that accumulating more will solve all our insecurities, when in reality, this cycle never ends. The endless pursuit of wealth and the constant fear of loss turn money into an invisible master, and without realizing it, we become its slaves. The Stoics teach us that money should be a means, not an end. When it becomes the center of our emotions and decisions, we stop owning it and start being controlled by it. The solution isn't to reject wealth, but to develop a balanced relationship with it, where we own money, but it doesn't own us. And here's the key point. Breaking the cycle requires daily practice. No real change happens with just theoretical understanding. You need to train your mind to see money for what it truly is, a tool, not a source of identity, self-worth, or happiness. Small actions like questioning your desires, reducing your emotional dependence on wealth, and practicing intentional contentment are fundamental steps in this transformation. After all, money can provide comfort and opportunities, but it can never guarantee peace of mind. As the Stoics demonstrated, true wealth isn't in what we accumulate. It's in the tranquility of knowing that whether we have a lot or a little, we remain the same. If this video gave you a new perspective, comment below, "I own my money." And don't forget to like and subscribe for more content on Stoicism and finance. Remember, whoever controls their desires controls their life. Stay on the path to prosperity until we meet again.